actually have those backwards. I bet you these factory ones are supposed to go in here, dummy, and then these new ones were going in, supposed to go in there. Because these are recessed. So, that means I gotta switch them. Oh, steps, my arch enemy right now. Oh, I just had a pretty big supper and I topped it all off with a pretty large bowl of ice cream. I probably should not have had ice cream because I'm feeling quite large right now. But anyway, we're back here with Mighty Mouse. We're gonna go ahead and in this video throw on these Mudbuster fender flares real quick. Hopefully they go as easy as they did at the Arctic Cat. The only complaint I have with Mudbusters is their instructions are not very good. So it might be a little bit of guesswork here to get the swing of things, but usually once you do one side, then it's super easy. Once it clicks, it clicks. So I did go ahead and wipe down my fenders here a little bit, somewhat. Yeah, it probably could have been wiped down more, but oh well. So let's just dive right in. So the first step we're supposed to do is remove 2 factory bolts. This one right here, and the instructions show this one right here. However, on my 16, this nut is welded fast. So I don't know if we're actually gonna have to remove this, which would involve cutting these welds off, or if we can get by with just sticking that in the hole. We'll take this one out and we'll just see how it fits with that one. There we go. Let's see how this fits without taking that one in. Yeah, see, they show this as being a removable one, but it isn't. So maybe that's a change they made in a later year. However, that's not how mine is. We'll make it work. It does line up with the hole, though, to some degree. That has to be a change they made in a later year. There might be enough there I can just get another bolt on the outside. Once the rest of these in there, I think it'll still hold up fine. I think it'll be all right. And that gets bolted back in place there on that little tab. See if I have a bolt that'll fit that. Oh, buddies, that one fits. It's even a nylock nut too. Ooh, but it's bigger. Ooh, I need to get a bigger wrench. Well, I think that'll do nicely. Now I don't have to take that another nut off. All right, on to the next step. All right, for the next step, whoa. We gotta pop this little push rivet out right here. And then this little L bracket here gets installed and then bolted through right there with the supplied hardware. We'll just snug it up till we get it roughly aligned. Well, that's like dead perfect there. Cool. I don't know what am I gonna get in there to bolt that. Or does that just get the push rivet put back in? See, that's what I mean about the instructions. They're not good. I love Mudbusters on the Arctic Cat, and these ones seem to be just as good, but their instructions are absolutely atrocious. They definitely need to refine them. I guess you can get up in there with a bolt, but it's not easy. Alright, there we go. And And now what's left is drilling a bunch of 5/16 holes and attaching with push rivets. You want to make sure to hold this up good and tight as we drill. It's going to be kind of tricky. Oh, 5/16 is pretty tight. Now a little bit. There we go. At least don't have to worry about that going anywhere. That's a satisfying sound. So much easier pushing it by hand. Those definitely aren't coming off anytime soon. And then this final hole down here will take a bolt. And there, passenger side's done. So these are the extra extended. You can get these in two sizes, one that comes out a little bit, like 2 inches, and one comes out a full 3 inches. These are the slightly larger ones, and they add a good little bit there to the fender. And with my wheels straight, they cover quite a bit more. Again, with the long travel being a full 60 inches or right around 58, 59 inches wide, it's still not going to cover completely, but that's going to help tremendously, I think. And the only thing I really don't like is some push rivets come through right here on the inside where you can see them, but I'm not blaming Mudbusters for that. There's really not much else you could do for that as far as attaching that to the side, and it is on there good and solid, so I think that'll work very well. I'm gonna hop over and get the driver's side done. It works the exact same, although I don't think it has these to deal with. It just pretty much attaches with these guys and with this one up there. Well, there's the front all installed. Those look pretty good, and they're gonna add quite a bit of protection, I do say so myself. So let's move on to the back. A little more involved with the back. Now, I still have my plastics off from putting the intercooler in, which is a good thing because what the rear are is pretty much these filler pieces, or I guess you could call them spacer pieces. Which how these works is you separate these two pieces here, and you put that piece in the middle, which kicks these rear fenders out 3 inches. And the way these are designed, it also kind of seals this area up in here, so that'll be blocked off, which is good. It'll help keep dirt off of some of this stuff in here anyway. And then an option you can get for the Pioneer 500 is these extra, I guess, rear flaps that'll actually kind of hang off from the back here. So instead of just having the fender come out like this and maybe down a little bit, these will hang down over, oh, if I can get it wet a lot farther like this, just to give you a little added protection. like I am gonna have to spin my blow-off valve here because it's gonna hit this plastic right here. But that's no big deal. We can just spin her on around. That car probably help keep crud off of it anyway. All right, we got it. I did have to go and do a little trimming here and here in this plastic centerpiece to go around our intercooler piping, but no big deal. Now we're gonna take our two red fender pieces and the factory push rivets and attach these guys back on with the factory rivets. Now for this one on the passenger side, they give you new holes here for clipping the wiring harness in, which is nice. So we'll just pop those in real quick. Oh boy. It seems like their holes are just a tad on the small side for this stuff. We'll get her. Probably would have been easier to do with the whole rack still off the buggy. Ah! Ah! Too warm. All right, you little plug clip. You're gonna go in. There you go. All right. Now we simply are gonna hold this guy up in place. We're going to remember to get our wiring harness in the little hole here in our upright. And then this gets attached here with the bolts right in through the rack mounting frame. Alright, we got this fender on here loosely. You see, just bolted on with those 4 clips there. I did miss a step though. You were supposed to drill these 2 here and put push clips in, as you can see better here on this other side. I forgot to do that, so it was a little bit of a pain doing it while it was already on here, but we got her. So now we're gonna go through and put push pins in here as a next step to attach this extension to our other plastic. Probably actually have those backwards. I bet you these factory ones are supposed to go in here, dummy. And then these new ones were supposed to go in there because these are recessed. So that means I gotta switch them. Like I said, I don't know if I've been clear about this. The instructions for these Mudbuster fender flares are not very good. So it's a good thing I'm doing this install. That way, if you want to throw these in your Pioneer 500, then you have a little better installation guide to go with than what they send you. All right, let me switch these around and then we'll continue on. All right, so there is the back. We got our red parts of our fender extended out here, this 3 inches. Again, these are absolute pain. I went ahead and drilled each one out with my drill bit, and that made it go a lot easier. You see here, these red fenders, there's these little brackets that simply bolt up through the factory hole here, and then these just kind of clamp over this bar, so that gives that good amount of support. And in here, now these were supposed to be push pins, and I fought and fought and fought, and I could not get those to go in. The thing is this is molded and rounded. This piece is flat, so you end up with the space in there like that. You gotta try to pinch together while pushing one of these through. I got tired of it. I said, So I just put a bolt in there. As you can see, I did the same thing on the other side. So I recommend if you go with these and get that, don't even mess with trying to put them push rivets in there. Just simply bolt it if you have a bolt. Even if you don't have a bolt, get a bolt. Just bolt it. Trust me. Just bolt it. Now this kit also does come with these little aluminum spacers that you could put in here and reattach this here as well for added strength. They are absolutely not needed, I don't think. These aren't going anywhere. I mean, if you need it for aesthetics and just for the looks, then by all means, I don't think I'm gonna mess with it. So now all I have left to do is these extensions here. Now it is something to note that the instructions do not include these whatsoever. I didn't check on the website or anything. These may be there on the website, but you don't really need instructions. They simply go on here. You see how this edge is kind of angled? It just simply goes in up there pretty much. This side over here, this is hard to do with one hand, so I don't know if I can show you very well. There we go. Just kind of like that. And then that guy goes right there. You drill 4 holes. Once you have that somewhat lined up, use one of these bolts with a large washer and a nylock nut, and that's all there is. So I'm gonna throw these on here. That'll finish this up. And one more thing to note, I did not realize, you see these 2 bolts here? Well, these guys are for right here. Mudbusters did realize that some of these nuts that they told you to take off was welded on, so they send you 2 nuts. So I'm gonna take the one I have put on back off because they're thick, but these are included for this nut here. Hold it. Got one. Where's my 10? I lost my 10mm. That pesky 10mm. This always goes missing. Found it. Oh, that's it. I know what. Duh. This is an American company. They use American sizes. I mean like 7/16. Done! We didn't have to take the wheel off. How about that? So now you guys can see how simple and easy these rear mud flap extensions go on. This profile just meets the profile of your plastic. Drill 4 holes and bolt them in. Well, there she is. The rear all completed. I really like the addition of these rear mud flaps. It's really going to help protect the mud from flinging up. Again, these don't quite go out far enough to cover the whole wheel, but I'm on a long travel kit. These weren't designed to work with a long travel kit. If you had the stock Pioneer 500 with even as much as 2-inch spacers, those are definitely going to cover and then some. So a couple tips here with the rear. I would say go ahead and install all this with the rack off as much as you can. You won't be able to reinstall this part, but I think it'd be a lot easier to put these together with this off, and so you're not having to work in around everything. And again, I think the fronts are really going to help with that as well. It's really going to help protect as well, especially when we are turning. That little bit right there is what really flings the mud. So that ought to really help. Again, not quite as nice and simple of an installation as it was on the Arctic Cat, but still not real awful bad. Again, I gotta stress this. Mudbusters definitely need to revamp their instructions, especially with letting you know, okay, these new push rivets go in the new piece to the red fender, while the stock ones go back into the holes where they were originally. That little tidbit of information would have helped me tremendously, but these aren't super overly complicated to install anyway, so it's pretty easy to figure out. But now that these are installed, in the next video, we're going to take Mighty Mouse back out there come snow, sleet, rain, hail, what have you, and we're going to do a little bit of cruising as best we can now that we've got our intercooler installed. So I hope you enjoyed this Mudbuster Fender Flare installation video. I hope you're looking forward to the very next video with Mighty Mouse, where we get to run this guy now we've got the intercooler. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, whether it's through Patreon, buying my merchandise from my Teespring store, or simply stopping in and saying hello in the comments and subscribing. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep on riding.